Hey y'all. How are you? I just want to welcome you. I'm LaMonica, and I am your health and wellness coach, your healthy living specialist. So come on in. I got some good nuggets for you today, and invite your friends. So share this video. I can't wait to see you. Come on in the room. Got some good stuff for you today. Hope y'all doing well on this thankful Thursday. What are you thankful for? I'm so grateful to be able to have my family. I'm so grateful to be able to wake up in the morning in a healthy, productive way. I'm so excited this Thursday. I wake up every morning and I'm just, ecstatic with so much energy. I'm ecstatic about what's going on. So come on in the room, invite somebody to come in. Because I got some great nuggets for you today. I want you to, hello beautiful people. I miss y'all. I love y'all. So good to see you on today. I wanted to talk a little bit to you about this time next year. This time next year, where do you see yourself? Where are you seeing yourself in your health, in your business, whatever it is? But because I'm a health coach, that's going to be my priority. Where do you see yourself this time next year? Or are you even envisioning your life this time next year? Sometimes we continue to go over cycle after cycle after cycle because we have failed to plan. And everybody know the saying, if we fail to plan, you plan to fail. That means if you continue to do the same thing, expecting a different result, what do they call that? They call it insanity. So we keep going through these cycles and going through these things the same way, then don't expect our life to change. We can't expect our life to change. To go through true transformation, guess what? It's going to cost you. It cost me everything going through this transformation. I had to give up a whole lot. So I had to be determined that this time next year, I wanted to see myself in a healthier, happier, wealthier place. So I wanted my life to be healthy, happy, and whole. I had to be willing to do what I hadn't done before to get to the place where I'd never been before. We know all of these cliches, but what are you willing to do? What sacrifices are you willing to make to get there? I always ask my clients, how bad do you want it? That was my first husband's sermon when he did, I think when he was 19, when he was preaching a long time ago, over, 20 years ago. He did that for how bad do you want it? He preached, how bad do you want? How bad do you want God? But I'm asking you today, how bad do you want that change in your life? I had to be willing to give up everything. I had to be willing to cut off friends. I had to be willing to make myself a priority. I had to be willing for the total transformation, I had to be willing to change all of my eating habits. And number one, I had to be willing to change my mentality. My mentality was all messed up. It was basically more my mentality than it actually was my nutrition. That was the hardest part going through this. Are you willing to change your mindset? Sometimes our mindset have us doing the same thing, have us in the same cycles. And like I said, we're expecting different results, but we're staying in the same place year after year after year. I had to be willing to change. My husband said one thing and it stayed with me through that process. He said, it's just food. Why are you being so weak? Stop being weak. He'd tell all of us, the children, all of us, and we just laugh about it. Stop being weak. You are strong. Stop being weak. It's just food. And I would sit there and I would literally cry when I could not have something, when I was feeling physically weak because my body was not used to the change that I put myself into when I lost all this weight. Everything was shut down. I couldn't have the weight loss surgery. I wanted it so bad, but because of the things that I was going through and my body, when I was diagnosed with periodic paralysis, anesthesia is something that'll trigger me going into paralysis. And so I'm going to tell you the honest truth. I wanted to lie on the application when I was trying to get the weight loss surgery. I wanted to lie and be like, okay, I don't have anything. You know, you have all the questioning and things that you have to answer. Or do you have any autoimmune disease? What diseases do you have? High blood pressure and all of this. But I was like, let me go ahead and tell the truth. Let me go ahead and not lie, because I'll be dead on that table. Something drastic happened. So I had to tell the truth. And guess what? I couldn't have the surgery. Couldn't have it. And so I felt so bad. I wanted to change. I wanted to make a change. And I knew I had to be willing to give up everything. I cut off the TV. I was willing to make that change. And then the death of my grandmother kind of pushed me into this serious health mode that I was willing to just in that name, to honor her. I wanted to do whatever I had to do, because I promised myself I was not going to be where I am this time next year. You need to make a promise to yourself. Whether it's losing weight, starting the business, oh, I don't have no money. What other excuses are you going to have? It's time to honor yourself. Be willing to do what you haven't done before to get to the place where you've never been before. If you could have did this a long time ago, you would have done it. You have to make, it's a mentality thing. And my whole thing was all about my mentality. I had to be willing to make the change in my mind first. That was the hardest part, making that change in my mind. My mind was messed up. My mind said I had to keep eating what I was eating. My mind said I don't feel like working out. My mind said I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like eating right. I don't feel like eating that broccoli. My mind said you don't have to do this because you're not going to change anyway. That's what my mind was saying. And so my competition lied with my old mindset. Your competition is not with the girl next door. Your competition is not with the guy next door. Your competition is within your old mindset. Tell yourself you are not going to be the same person this time next year. Do whatever you have to do. I tell my clients all the time, what are you willing to do? How bad do you really want this? Well, you're going to have to make some sacrifices that you never had before. You're going to have to do some things that you never had before. And like my husband told me, don't be weak. You're not weak. You're not made like that. But guess what? You are going to have to change your mindset, because that mindset had me depressed. My mindset had me in a place where I felt stuck. My mindset had me in a place where I felt like I couldn't go on anymore. My mindset had me in a place where I had an incurable disease, where I was going to be paralyzed and have a wheelchair for the rest of my life if I didn't change my life. My mindset had me overweight, depressed, disgusted with my body. That's where my mindset was. And it was like, am I willing to stay like this another year? Like, Monica, get yourself together. It's just food. My husband say that all the time. It's just food. Get yourself together. What steps are you willing to take to get you where you have never been before? What are you willing to do? What sacrifices are you willing to make? How bad do you want it? Ask yourself. What are you willing to change? How bad do you want this? And where do you see yourself this time next year? Where do you see yourself? I had to be willing to give up TV. I had to be willing to shut Facebook down, because sometimes the comparable thing, makes you feel even worse if you get on there. Okay, let me shut that down. Let me turn my plate down a little bit. Let me do some portion control over my food, because apparently I'm eating way too much than what I actually need. And people will come in your life and tell you different things of what you need, but you know what your body needs. How bad do you want this? Where do you see yourself this time next year? I challenge you, don't be in the same place that you are this year, next year. I challenge you, whatever today is, well, this month, May, don't be in the same place May 2022. I challenge you, make the changes now. Write it down. Write the vision. Make it plain. Put out where you want to be. keep it before you, keep your plans before you, and make it a point to start making those changes. Write those steps down, because it's only you are the one that can make that decision. Your competition, not with anyone else. Your competition is with your old mindset. Change your mind and you'll change your life. That was my biggest hurdle with me and transforming and losing 70 pounds in 7 months. I was willing to do anything. As hard as it was, I knew the hardship and the pain was only temporary. Okay, I'm going through this right now. I'm hurting right now. My mind, I'm disgusted right now. While I'm going through this process of discipline right now, it's hard. It's the hardest thing I ever had to do, but I was willing to do it to get to the place where I needed to be, because I was determined I was not going to be at the same place I am today again next year. I was willing to make the change. And I challenge you, be willing to make the changes that you need to make to get to the place where you want to be. Write it down. Number 1, where do you see yourself? Number 2, what are you willing to change? Number 3, how bad do you want it? Number 4, make a decision on making those changes. Make a decision. Number 5, it's no turning back once you make that decision. Be determined. There's no turning back. Once you're in it, you're in it. Honor your own word to yourself. Back in the day, we would say your word is your bond. Honor your own word to yourself. When you make that decision, there's no turning back. So I will see you next time. And I want to know, what are you willing to do to make those changes that where you want to be this time next year? I challenge you, and I know you got this. See you later.